Hey artists, today we're going to create a pumpkin patch project. In order to do this one, you're just going to need a pencil, a permanent black marker, and some markers in beautiful fall colors like red, orange, yellow, green, and brown. You can also use a paintbrush if you would like at the end of this project. To start off, we're going to do a pumpkin patch drawing with pumpkins, 3 different pumpkins, one that is here, so really close to us, one that's near, a little bit farther away, and one that is far. So here, near, and far, we're going to show some space. So I've just started out by drawing really light. Remember, draw light till you get it right. I've drawn my pumpkins really light and they're overlapping, so one is in front of the other. Then I'm going to go back and add my stem. These lines are going to be just a little bit darker because I am pretty sure that's where I want them to be. So draw a stem with 2 curved lines and then a jelly bean oval on top and then a curved line on the bottom. Now I'm going to go back over all my pencil lines and add those curved pumpkin lines that show the texture of the pumpkin. I'm going to keep adding these curved lines to each of my 3 pumpkins to really show which way they're facing and how they are overlapping. Now, if at any point I'm going too fast, you can always pause the video and catch up. Just a few more texture lines on the stems of my pumpkin to make them look a little bit different from the smooth texture of the pumpkin itself. And then my final step is to add in the extra details that are in the foreground, middle ground, and background. I've added some grass in the foreground and I'm going to add some curly, fancy, swirly vines that are part of my pumpkin, as well as a few leaves. Not too many though because I'm running out of space. So you add the details that you would like to add to your pumpkin patch. After I'm happy with my drawing, then I'm going to trace all of my lines with a permanent black marker, like a sharpie. I'm going to speed this part up so you don't sit here and watch me trace for too long. And once you're done tracing all your lines with Sharpie, go back and erase your pencil marks with an eraser. Okay, now for the fun part of this beautiful, vibrant pumpkin patch project. I am using fall colors, so reds, oranges, and yellows. Those are our warm colors, as well as greens and browns, and I'll use blue for the sky. So I'm starting out on my pumpkin, and in the places where I would see a little bit of a shadow or the darker values, I am putting in some red. This is going to be the darker part of my pumpkin where it shows the texture of the surface of the pumpkin. So I'm going around and doing that first. Then I'm going to layer in some orange. And it's okay if your marker overlaps. You can color on one top of a color with another. I'm using some orange, and then where the pumpkin would be lightest, I'll use some yellow. I'm going to do it maybe a little bit differently on the other 2 pumpkins, but this is how I'm going to do this one particular pumpkin to show the dark values and light values, the shadows and the highlights. once you're done filling in those values, those 3 different colors on your pumpkin, then you can do the stem. I'm doing kind of the same thing and layering in some dark brown around the edges and then some lighter brown on the inside parts to show a highlight. Pumpkin back there, I'm going to try it a little bit differently just for fun. I'm going to use brown for the shadows, so brown for the parts of the pumpkin that will be a little bit darker. And then I'll go back and color in other areas just the same way. You can do this also on your leaves. I'm using 2 different shades of green, a light green and a dark green, to show the different values. And I'll even use this technique on my grass, so I did a dark green, light green, and just a touch of yellow here or there to show the grass that's beneath my pumpkin patch. coloring until I completely fill in all the space. I'm using some blue in my sky because blue is a complementary color to orange, so it looks really great when it is stacked next to the orange in a picture. They show each other off and say very nice things about each other, kind of like a compliment. Anyway, so they are really great colors to use in artwork together. When you have filled up all the white space, my oh my, this is a beautiful pumpkin patch piece of artwork. However, if you want to take it a step further, stay tuned because I'm going to teach you about that. I am using a brush and just water, and I'm going to put that water on top of the areas that I want to blend together. So the parts of my pumpkin where I put red, orange, and yellow, I'm going to blend those together. It will make your marker look like watercolor painting, which is super awesome. It will also blend the values together and make it look very smooth and dreamy and really cool. My advice is, as you are adding water, every time you change a color, you always rinse out your brush, and I'm not adding any paint whatsoever. This is just plain clear water. So as you're doing this, do one color at a time, and I suggest starting with the lighter colors first and moving from yellows and oranges and reds to the blues and greens, and then save your brown for last, very last. Once you're done with the brown, let it dry and see the magic happen. These are starting to look really awesome. I cannot wait to see what you create. These pumpkin projects are really amazing to see this time of year. Until next time, guys.